I got my cousin and her husband banned from my parents' cabin after they refused to let me use my medical equipment. So I've had type 1 diabetes since I was a kid. I manage it well, but it's not optional or negotiable. I wear a continuous glucose monitor and use an insulin pump. It beeps sometimes. It vibrates. It keeps me alive. Everyone in my family knows this because I've had it for over 20 years. My parents own this small lake cabin that's been in our family forever. They don't live there full time, but they let different relatives use it throughout the year. A couple of years ago, my cousin Erin and her husband moved nearby and started staying there a lot. My parents charged them basically nothing because they were getting back on their feet. I usually avoid staying there when Erin is around because she's very crunchy. Like anti-medicine, essential oils fix everything. Vibes over science type. She's made comments before about how I rely too much on devices and how diabetes can be reversed with discipline. I let it slide because arguing with her is exhausting. Last fall, my parents planned a big family weekend at the cabin. Everyone was coming, including me and my partner. I told my mom ahead of time that I needed access to an outlet near the bed for my pump charger and a quiet place to deal with alarms if my blood sugar dropped overnight. She said it was fine. Erin, however, insisted we all stay together instead of renting another place. She made a huge deal about family bonding and how hurt she'd be if we didn't stay there. Against my better judgment, we agreed. The first night after dinner, I plugged in my pump by the bed. Erin immediately noticed and asked what it was. I explained. Again, she sighed and said she didn't want medical machines in the bedroom because it made the space feel negative and might scare her kids. She suggested I turn it off at night or sleep on the couch without it. I laughed because I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Her husband backed her up and said they didn't feel comfortable exposing the children to something that beeped and looked serious. I told them turning it off wasn't an option and sleeping without it was dangerous. Erin snapped back that if I couldn't respect their boundaries, maybe I shouldn't be there. My partner jumped in, clearly upset, and said this wasn't about comfort, it was about my health. Erin rolled her eyes and said, people survive without technology all the time. One of the kids asked if I was going to die, and Erin laughed and said, only if she keeps depending on machines. That was it for me. I told them if they didn't stop and apologize right now, I was calling my parents. Erin scoffed and said it wasn't my place because they basically lived there. I reminded her that they didn't own the cabin and were only there because my parents allowed it. Things escalated fast. The kids started crying. Erin accused me of threatening to make them homeless. We packed our bags and left that night. I called my parents from the car and told them everything. My dad was livid, like shaking angry. The next morning, he told Erin and her husband they were no longer welcome at the cabin and had 30 days to stop using it completely. Now my phone is blowing up. Erin says I overreacted and ruined her kids' sense of stability. Her husband says I chose a machine over family. Random relatives are messaging me saying I should have been more understanding of their beliefs. My mom keeps asking if there's a way to smooth things over. My partner feels awful even though none of this was their fault. Erin is telling everyone I kicked the family out because I couldn't compromise. But they didn't just disagree with me. They minimized my illness, tried to control my body, and put my health at risk in a place that was never theirs to begin with. And honestly, I don't see how I'm supposed to apologize for refusing to endanger myself just to keep the peace.